Well, thank you so much. Who do I have with me here today?
So I'm Lupita Alvarez.
Lupita.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Lupita. I don't have the Spanish
Oh, that's
roll of the
perfect.
tongue. Lupita. How'd you say that?
So what I like to say is think of a pita bread,
Okay.
pita,
Pita.
and then you add Lu in front of it. So Lu pita.
Lupita.
Yep, it's
Fantastic.
perfect. Makes it easy.
Well, I appreciate your time, and you are a
Holistic business coach.
holistic business coach. That is new to me, so I'm going to learn something here today. We've got some instruments out here. Can you tell me, in your own words, how you got started and what it is, the service that you provide?
Definitely. So I'm now 10 years into my business
Okay.
as an entrepreneur. And when I began, I really focused on being a business coach for entrepreneurs because I felt when I began, there weren't a lot of resources. And I also felt like it was so far away from the corporate job that I had to make a leap from being an employee to an entrepreneur. And even though I do come from a family of entrepreneurs, it was a different type of entrepreneur. And one of the things that my own business coach said to me was, if you want to be a coach, think about what you want to talk about day and night. And I
What's
thought,
in your heart?
and I was like, the one thing I love talking about is helping entrepreneurs find their passion, gain clarity, and keep moving, right? And so that's what I did for the first 5 years. But what I realized the first 5 years was there's only so much strategy can get you through. Because if we don't have the emotional intelligence, we don't have the regulation in our nervous system, if we're not making time in our calendar to have what I call white space, and that can make people go into panic mode. Because if you're a high achiever, you want every single time slot to be filled.
I didn't know that. I'm not a
Okay.
high achiever. I was born to slack off. If you
Really?
will. I'm a slacker. You can say that.
Well, then you're a successful slacker. I'll tell you what, because a lot of my clients, the ones that really gravitate to me, are the ones who've been so high achieving that since they were young, they were told your value is in being productive. Your value is in doing. So when they come to me, they're like, "Lupita, I don't know what's happening in my business because I'm doing everything right." And then I say, "Well, you're doing too much. Let me see your calendar." Usually my very first question, "Can I please see your
Do they
calendar?"
already have a what they consider success in their mind? They haven't achieved it, or are they just part of the grinding, just without an end goal in place? Because I've learned over the years that if you don't have that threshold as of success, if you've not defined it for yourself, you're going to go forever just wondering where. So, is that one of the things that you help them find that goal?
Yes. So at the very beginning, this whole business strategy component is what you just mentioned, where they were coming to me, they didn't know what that end goal was, right? And so I work with them on that. But still, at that point, if you don't have the end goal, but you have the steps, you're still at a loss for words because you're just plugging into the machine, right? Because that's what we're taught, at least I was in school, just plug into the machine. And when you go into the entrepreneur side, it's like, I get to create my own life, I get to create my own business. So the entrepreneurs that gravitate to me are the ones that, at least now, they're 5 years in their business. They figured out what works, what doesn't work, but they're still feeling stuck. They're either not delegating enough, they have too many tasks on their calendar. And that's where the holistic side of the business strategy was birthed because
That's what they're missing
they're
sometimes,
they're
most
they're
of the
they're
time.
missing. And now, like the buzzword, maybe the buzzword is self-care, right? The buzzword out there is if you don't take care of yourself, no one's gonna take care of you, which is very true. My entrepreneurs, and most of us, I would say, having a business are like, I don't have time to take care of myself. I gotta pay my bills, I gotta pay my employees, if I have a brick or mortar, I gotta open the store. So when I meet my entrepreneurs and we're talking about what does your calendar look like? What are your priorities? What are your values? Not only in your business, but for yourself, I usually get a blank stare. And that's normal because they believe that if I have a passion for making jewelry, that should be enough, right? As an entrepreneur. If I have a passion for selling cupcakes, that should be enough. But when you're a baker, for example, and you're getting up at 4 in the morning to go bake these cupcakes, and your store opens at 8 a.m., then you're there all day, all night, and maybe you sleep 5 hours and you do the whole grind over again. When are you taking care of yourself? Because maybe you don't have the money yet to,
Some
to,
of that is
to hire
part of our
somebody.
society. We're born into a society of work, go to work. Because I remember having to go to work at early in the morning, and yeah, I remember those days.
100%. So when you're used to that and now you have your own business, you think it's the same same system. And that's the part where the holistic part that I talk about is what will look good for you as a business owner. Are you a 9 to 5? You're like, yeah, that's what I always did. But what if you're not a 9 to 5er? What if you're a 10 to 3 o'clock? You're like, wait a minute. What about that white space? Exactly. What about that white space? Because that's where these sound bowls came into my life.
Yeah, tell me that if you don't mind.
Yes, I
Absolutely.
would love that. When I was living in New York, I had already launched my business. I was working mostly with clients online and remote, and I still was having that big city, high intensity stress, right? It's go, 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 go. And it's very contagious. And one of my really close friends says to me, you know what? I think you just need to like go to a space where it's quiet. I'm like, in New York City? Come on, where is it quiet in New York City, right? And he recommended that I go to a sound bath. Now, I will tell you, this is a really funny story because I really love him. At the same time, when he said that to me, I'm like, people go with other strangers into a room, they lie down on a yoga mat, and you're playing like really beautiful sounds. They pay you to sleep? Like I was,
First time I'm hearing it. I've
right?
never heard of this.
I'm like, what? And he goes, please come, please come. So I went to one of the sessions and I can't even explain to you. I'll play them in a little bit so you can hear them. The experience I had of laying there, my eyes closed, and he's like, okay, just let your body rest. And he started playing the different bowls. And I thought I was at rest. I thought my body was still, but it wasn't because even when we say, okay, I'm laying down and I feel comfortable, the bowls, the different notes of the bowls, they really connect with our nervous system to bring that grounding, that feel like you're almost like melting into your mat. That's the easy way I can explain it. It feels really comforting. So when he played the very first bowl, which was this one, which is a deep, deep bowl, you're like, it's like a deep sigh, like your body goes into a deep sigh. And so when that happened to me, mind you, I'm living in New York, high intensity type of place, right? And this happens the first 5 minutes, my eyes are closed, and I'm thinking, somebody placed their hands on my shoulder. I'm sure, I'm sure. And I opened my eyes and no one's around me. It's just that my body that I thought was at rest really wasn't at rest. It was still tense. And as soon as this one played, my body actually released into the mat to truly rest. I fell asleep. It was an hour. I woke up and I was like, where's everybody? My friend was there picking up his bowls. And I said, what just happened? I feel so rested. I have so much clarity. My shoulders are not aching. He didn't know, but I had a lot of shoulder pain because of all the stress that I was carrying. And he said, yeah, you actually were able to sleep. You actually were able to let go, to go into a deep meditative state. And I said to him, I have tried to meditate the way they tell you, the gurus, of like sit, cross legs, and close your eyes. I've tried that. It doesn't work for me. Maybe it works for other people, but it didn't work for me. Right. But there's something really beautiful about a sound bath. The sound of the bowls help your mind focus on something that is so soothing that your mind and your body is like, okay, I guess we're going to rest. And you just sort of melt, right? Versus if you're just sitting there and you're like, I want to meditate, no thoughts. I want to meditate, no thoughts. I want to meditate, no thoughts, right? You're like talking to yourself. So when can you really go into a meditative state? And I will share this to anybody who's been feeling like, I want to meditate, but I don't know how to meditate. Or somebody said to you, when you meditate, there are no thoughts in your brain. My teacher, who I was certified under for my sound bowls, I asked him this question. I said, I've tried meditating the regular way, no bowls, no nothing. I can't. I can't get rid of the thoughts. And he says to me, I want to ask you a question. When do you think we have no thoughts? And I'm like, is this a trick question? I don't know. He goes, we only have no thoughts when we're dead. So it's a good thing that you're having thoughts, even as you're trying to meditate. He goes, be concerned if you're in a meditative state and there are no thoughts that are freely flowing. What I've learned in a sound bath is there's a way to bring the volume down of the thoughts that we have. Okay, the volume comes down. It never goes away, at least in my experience. And so when I had that experience of going to that sound bath, I thought, can I connect this to my business coaching? What would that look like? So I started doing it for myself, where the moments that I felt really stressed, I would go to a sound bath and I would take a notepad because I would have so many ideas. And I would go in there with a purpose or intention. You know what? I'm really stressed about this next decision that I have in my business. Should I hire somebody? Should I, whatever decision I had, I write on my notebook, close it, lay down at a sound bath that I would go to in New York. And I wake up and I'd have the answer. And it's not that it wasn't there. It's like it was always there. There was just so much clutter. So I thought, let me test it with others. Maybe it's just me. And the same thing has been happening with other clients that I've had through a sound bath, through mindfulness, of being able to reflect, right? Allowing the thoughts to come through. I like to say, visualize them on a white fluffy cloud, right? Going left to right or right to left. Acknowledge them, release them. Because like a sound bath, if a thought comes up, I gotta wash my car, I gotta clean my laundry, all these things come up for you. All you do is thank you, brain, you're so smart. Thank you for bringing it to me. I just can't wash my car right now. Thank you for bringing it, but I left dirty dishes in the sink. I can't clean it right now. Right? That really light acknowledgement, your brain's like, oh, okay, she knows she's got to wash her car. She knows she's got to wash her dishes. And then those thoughts are not so loud anymore. So when I started doing this for my clients, my entrepreneurs, they were telling me that they were sleeping better. They were telling me that they were able to make decisions a little bit quicker in their business. They started embracing the white space in their calendar where they weren't always booking meetings or always booking, business transactions. They're like, oh my gosh, I made time today to go walk in the park for 20 minutes. I would have never done that. Oh my gosh, Lupita, I can't believe that I put in a meditation for 5 minutes in between a meeting because I felt really stressed. I sat there, put my timer for 5 minutes, listened to it. It was a breath of fresh air. It doesn't have to be an hour sound bath. It's really incorporating mindfulness, incorporating what really works for you as self care. For me, if anybody follows me online, they'll know I'm always going to a park. That's my happy zone. Being outside, hearing the birds, having some bare feet on the grass, like just having the feeling of being outside.
Nature.
It neutralizes any stress that we're having. I don't know how much experience you have or have heard of this, but the type of stress that we're having nowadays, that could be from an email popping up in your inbox to somebody notifying you, or you're getting 10 notifications at once, or your boss is calling you, like you're like, you go into panic mode, where that didn't used to happen. It was just, oh, it's an email. Oh, it's a notification. But we're being bombarded by so many notifications through technology. Our nervous system is on high alert, as if you're being chased by a tiger. Okay, that's the level of stress that our society is under right now. So to bring in self-care, insert whatever type you like, me, the sound bath. The other reason why I love a sound bath as self-care is because to put your phone away. You don't want to be the rude person of like, I'm gonna relax, but I gotta send a text message to a friend. No, that phone's gotta go off on vibrate, put it outside of the room, have the space to yourself. So that's really how I began incorporating it. And I had a lot of people who were not entrepreneurs, not my clients, say, can I have a sound bath? Like I hear it's amazing. And I'm like, okay. So when I moved back to Polk County, I thought, is Polk County open to this? I don't know, right? It feels a little bit different, but I had the results for myself and my clients. So slowly in Winter Haven, I started having events. I had a studio there in Winter Haven for 2 years. Then I started doing events in Lakeland. Then I've been pretty much traveling all through Florida. I've even gone to Texas, to New York to host types of events. Because as much as I am a holistic coach, right, with business and with strategy, I also bring this component in. So when I'm not teaching or talking about the power of pause, how important it is to pause, and how life will bring pauses that could be a health condition of your own or a family member. It could be a pause where you lose your job. It could be a pause where you can't pay the mortgage. Like there's these pauses that are happening to us. But if we get ahead of the curve and we create the pauses, so when these things happen in life, it doesn't feel like we're in a sinkhole. That's really what I've learned. And I really love working with my clients who are finding small ways to make these shifts. And then they're finding that they're more themselves. And then when you are more yourself, your business thrives to 10th degree because you're not trying to run a business out of desperation, burnout, or these beliefs of if I am more productive, I can have more clients. It doesn't work like that. I am a huge proponent since I moved back here of going to networking events, going into these circles, and just listening. Who's there? Yes, I'm a business owner. I want to talk about my business, but who's really there, right? So that's what I've done over the past 5 years is figuring out who's here, how can I help them, how can I serve them, how can I connect them? And going from this type of a, I would say, service, right, including sound baths to the public and to my clients, I've started to create a program that I'm launching in May, actually, called the Small Business Accelerator. And it's all about everything I've learned over the past 5 years since moving back. How have I tapped into these networking circles? How have I been able to be asked to come speak on stages? How have I been able to cultivate my email list and nurture those that are around me? And that's something that I've been asked by those that are here, like, Lupita, I see you everywhere doing XYZ. How can you help me? And my own business coach, coaches should have coaches, by the way. My own business coach said, Lupita, you've done this for 5 years. Why aren't you creating a program? Why aren't you helping others? And I thought, who would want to learn how to do this? And she was like, everybody. So that is
You're
something
teaching people to learn to do it, or you're providing the service to help people?
I'm teaching them how to do it with the framework that I've done for myself for 5 years. So they'll have me in like a group coaching center, so like a mastermind. So they'll have me there. They'll create their own workshops, their own presentations. I'll have my eyes on it. I'll give them feedback. If they're already at the stage where they've created a presentation like a PowerPoint, and they're like, Vita, I don't know. I need you to see and critique how I'm speaking. Okay, record yourself. If we're here local, let me see you speak somewhere. Let me give you that feedback. Is your presentation really landing? As in, is it connecting with the people that are there? Are you converting? Is anybody there in the audience coming up to you and saying, I need to hire you? I want to know more about you. If no one is coming to you after a workshop or a talk, then we need to tweak that presentation. Because as a business owner, yes, we're there to inform, but ultimately, right? I mean, you're a business owner too, like you want to actually have clients. So we work through all of that. And then being able to have me, like I say, in your pocket, because we have a Telegram group that goes on for 10 days, full on intensive. Any questions you have, I'm answering, I'm giving you feedback. You're testing things with me. I'm sharing a lot of the things that I've been doing for myself, and I've never done that before because no one else did it for me. So when I moved back here, I had to figure out certain things that were like, this is happening, this is happening. And then all of a sudden, I'm being asked to speak at different places. The different talks that I'm having are very different. I'm talking about time management with pausing, with taking rest. Everyone else maybe is talking about keep hustling, keep moving, keep going, which that's good too. But the way I like to say is rest, realign, take action. If you don't have the rest, what are you moving forward in? You're an autopilot, I think of like a gas guzzler, you're just going, right? So that's really what I've been bringing here to Polk County is this whole concept of how can we really embrace this in a more beautiful way. And along the way, which is really interesting, as a Latina that I am, and I lived in maybe for a little bit in New York, I came back here looking, where are the other Latina professionals? I couldn't find them. Not that they weren't there, but I couldn't find them. And over 5 years, I kept looking. And I met this wonderful co-founder, Yesenia. And she and I decided, let's take a whole year. Let's look in Polk County. Someone else has to be doing this. Where can Latina professionals connect, find mentorship, be able to grow in their professional career, whether you are a regular employee trying to move up in the world or you're an entrepreneur? Where is this group of Latinas? After a year, we didn't find it. And let me tell you, Don, like I already have a business. I don't want to open another business, right? But Yesenia and I felt so passionate about this. And she has her own background that is just so beautiful. And she thought, if there's two of us, we can do it. I know we can do it together. So we launched in January and we've been meeting monthly, the second Tuesday of every month at different parts of Polk County. And so May is actually a really big event that we're having. It's Women's Mental Health Wellness event. We're going to have a counseling there, speaking about Latina and stress situations. We're going to be able to have also chair massages, whip soap workshop. I'm going to be leading a sound bath, of course. Got to bring this in. And then we're going to be having mindfulness with tea. I mean, we're bringing in different local businesses that all center around how can we reduce stress? How can we focus in on this mental health situation that we're having as a society, specifically around Latinas? So that is another really great endeavor that I'm a part of. And something that is pretty huge, Dawn, I didn't tell you before we met in here, has to do under that umbrella of Latinas Profesionales in Action, which just means Latina professionals in action, right? We want to get together, but we want to be out in the world, out in the community. We're really building up leaders, women leaders in our community, really highlighting them, providing that mentorship that if you want to speak, obviously I just shared about my program. If you want to speak, if you want to be connected somewhere here locally, come to us first. Let's connect and then let's put you out there. And we looked again, Yesenia and I, we were looking as Latinas, is there a Day of the Dead festival party, right? I'm Mexican, so that usually originated around there. Dia de los Muertos, there was nothing in Polk County. So we're launching the very first Dia de los Muertos night market and after party. We're partnering with Union Hall. We're going to do it here in Lakeland. So that's very exciting.
Wonderful.
And we're going to have vendors. So the night market will be outside. And then that's family friendly. That'll be free for anybody who wants to come participate and meet our vendors. And then at 9, that'll end. So 6 to 9, 9:30, the party happens inside of Union Hall. Live music, obviously fun, food and all that. And that will be a paid event. And so that's something else that, that we've been working on for almost a year, thinking about it and looking for somebody else to do it. Nobody else is doing it. So we're like, okay, I guess we're going to do it. And you're probably thinking like, how can I do all this? Right? How can I be a part of all this when I'm such a huge proponent of self-care? Right? Because I get that question a lot. Like, Lupita, you're everywhere. When are you taking time for yourself? And this is the beauty of the framework that I teach is every single week, I sit with my calendar. I look at the whole panorama of the month and my full quarter. This is how I do it for myself, I do it for my clients. And then I open my weekly calendar and I decide, what are my priorities this week? What is truly urgent? Not just important, but truly urgent. Where can I plot it in? And what can I push forward to the next week or the next month? A lot of times what we do is we think everything's important and urgent and our week is filled to the brim, right? And in that same calendar, I create that white space that I talked about earlier, where I put in, I'm going to the park, I'm going to yoga class, I'm going to have lunch with a friend, I'm going to go to movies with my nephew. Like I schedule that in there because if not, I love the work that I do. I'm going to fill it with other things, right? So, in essence, that is what it is, start to finish, what I've been doing here, and how I got connected to wellness professionals through Sam, who you've already had here. Oh my gosh, that has really changed the way I've seen my role in this whole capacity of wellness, knowing there was already a group here in the wellness component. And Debbie has been doing an incredible job here. And we're so happy to be able to launch our very first ever. Let me look at the name of it.
Debbie at PhytoFit?
Yes, PhytoFit. Beyond the Hustle, Build, Balance, and Breakthrough. Sam is one of our speakers, Gianna as well, and then Madeline. And then I'll be closing it out with the sound bath. That's the first time ever we're doing it. We're calling it the Ultimate Entrepreneur Wellness Experience. Completely free. Any entrepreneur who wants to come from Polk County and beyond, come join us May 3rd in the morning at Catapult. And that really is something that we want to continue to do in the community where we're creating, I call them these little small summits, highlighting other wellness professionals to come in with us and to speak on different aspects that you're the expert on, right? Like I can speak about my area of expertise all day long. And we want somebody else to come in and speak on something else so we can touch on these different areas of what it is being an entrepreneur. Whether you're barely starting, you're like, I think I have the itch to be an entrepreneur, but it's kind of scary. Or you're already 10, 20 years in and you're like, I need some fresh blood. Like I need to talk to somebody else here because I'm getting a little bit dry in my business. I need to feel inspired. Or maybe you've been in business so long, you want to become a mentor. That is so valuable. That's what I found also with me having a coach through all these years, my own business coach, is because of her, she's the one who was able to see these parts of my business that I could make a little bit bigger, right? And I think sometimes when we don't have that mentor in our space, we may think like these dreams are too small or too big. I can't do them right now. That's like 10 years in the future. Like the program that I'm doing, the Small Business Accelerator, I thought, oh, that's 5 years in the future. And she's like, that's now. So I really believe partly about mentorship. And I believe coming back here to Polk County and meeting so many incredible business owners and regular community folks. It's so important to have community leaders. We have so many gems here. So many gems, and I'd love to be able to find a way to continue to highlight them with the way that you're doing here with business owners. And I just think that we have wonderful people that are either coming here, have been here, and maybe just need a platform to share their message.
Have you heard of Anna,
Anna from,
Puerto Rican Chamber of Commerce?
oh, yes, yes, I have heard of her. Yes,
You made a connection with her?
yes, yes, and Anna, I've talked to her.
Okay.
Yes.
She's a resource here locally.
Oh, yes.
So you're gonna give us a demonstration
I
if you don't
would,
mind?
I would love that. To have the full experience, if you feel comfortable, to put on an eye mask because it's kind of bright in here.
All right.
Okay. So I'm going to lead you through. So I'll do a 2-minute mini sound bath.
The bowls produce a sound at different wavelengths and frequencies.
That's correct. Think of it like a musical note of an instrument. So right now, here in this space, take a moment to acknowledge all the sounds in the room. The sound of the bowls, the sound of my voice, allowing all these sounds to harmonize together. And slowly bring awareness to your toes, to your ankles, to your knees, softening every part, allowing your knees to sink into the chair beneath you, bringing gentle awareness to your lower back, and visualizing each of your vertebrae from your lower back to your mid back, each of them softening and releasing, making its way to your upper back. And finding your way to your shoulders. And what would it feel like if you allowed your shoulders here in this space to melt away from your ears, allow that to soften, and guiding your awareness from your neck to your jaw, softening your jaw, softening your cheek and your tongue, even softening your lips. Taking a moment here to let it go, bringing that awareness to the bridge of your nose, between your eyebrows, across your forehead, the right, gently caressing, making your way to the crown of your head. Feel the whole body to soften in this space. And allowing the whole body to allow this space to surround the sound. Feeling a reflection of gratefulness for what is. Bringing the moment of gratitude for this time and space, for those that you love. So slowly taking your time, removing your eye mask, and clearing your vision.
You feel good. I hope I got it. I don't.
It's
Like,
short. It was only, yeah, wasn't even like 3 or 4 minutes.
and so a session is how long?
A session can be anywhere between 30 minutes to 45 minutes. It is ideal to lay down because you're able to really let your body go back. Also, if most of my clients, if they can't get to the floor, they can sit on a chair perfectly fine. But I will say, if you can get on the floor, a lot of my clients who are recurring, they're like, "Oh, she's playing. I gotta go." Right? They bring their blankets, they bring their socks. I always provide an eye mask, but some of them already have their own eye masks. I like to think of it as whatever you need to be the most comfortable, because you're bringing your yoga mat, you're laying down, right? And your body temperature will go down because you're going into a state of rest. So you're gonna feel a little bit colder than what the space actually is currently. So yeah, my recurring clients are like, they have their bag of stuff. They're like,
I
okay,
feel like I slobbered a little bit.
yeah.
Like I was really super comfortable. And my body. So do you have the ability to diagnose someone? Um, like, do you counsel them ahead of time and say, okay, this is the prescription, or is it a prescription the same for everybody?
Do you mean for to have a sound bath?
Yeah.
No, it's not like a prescription. More than anything, if I feel like if somebody is stressed and your mind is racing, one of the things I like to say is go for a walk first. Go for a walk. Like if you have a lot of energy and thoughts here, your body needs to be in movement, right? So go for a walk. After you do a walk, if you're like, I still feel like there needs to be clarification, like almost like reorganization in my brain, then I would recommend a sound bath. And the reason I recommend it is because a lot of us don't take the time to just be still. Like even if we're in the bathroom, I've seen, I don't know with everybody else, but I've heard when you go to the bathroom, you still take your phone with you. Why would you take your phone to the bathroom? You're on the phone. So the beauty of a sound bath is, like I mentioned earlier, you're going to be the rude person on your phone in there. You're not. Like you're like, no, I made an investment to be here. The time to get here, if I said no to something else, I have 30 minutes to 45 minutes or an hour in this space. I'm putting my phone away. So the moment that somebody's new experience of like laying down, they have their blanket, they're cozy, you have your socks on, and I start playing, I do at the very beginning explain, if this is your first time, you might have all of the tasks, all the thoughts that you've been avoiding, they're going to come up to the surface. And the main reason for that is because you haven't made time for them previously, right? So in that time and space, being able to, share that tip of if everything comes up, just acknowledge, okay, thanks for reminding me about the car wash. Thank you for reminding me about the washing my dishes, right? And you kind of gently just let them float by, the volume of the thoughts go down. And then I've had clients who keep coming who say to me, Lupita, every time I come, the volume is less. Those thoughts are less. Not that they're gone, it's just less present. So they're able to really be present in the sound bath. And so that's why I think anybody who is stressed out, give it a try. I can't explain it and you can't explain it. Like once I started playing it, the bowls vibrate, right? They vibrate. You get to feel the vibration in the room. That vibration helps our nervous system just feel comfortable and cozy. So as much as you can hear it on Spotify or on YouTube, right? You can hear a sound bath. I think it's wonderful. You'd be able to hear that. being in person to feel the vibration of the bowls. There's something so soothing about it.
That brings a good question.
Mhm.
Can can what you just did and in your sessions be similarly or really close to digital? Like someone makes a video of the exact same thing and it comes through your phone. Is it as valuable or is this more valuable? Is there a comparison? So
It's
if you created a video and they
yes,
just played it every week for themselves.
it is very valuable. It will be a little bit different because you won't have the vibration of being in person, right? You won't feel that vibration like you and I just felt in this room. But it's still valuable because you're signaling to yourself, I'm making time for myself. By playing this in my ears or on the speakers, right? I'm playing this in my ears 5 minutes, 10 minutes, however long. There are therapeutic benefits of just listening in your ear pods. Yeah, in person, if you can do it in person because it's a little bit different.
Well, it seems to me, and I'm from the
Yeah,
land,
yeah.
that I'm sure you get some benefit from listening to it through a speaker because that's how we hear. Speakers are vibration. The speaker physically
Yes.
vibrates. So you get some, but it seems like when I'm right, I can hear this ringing as I'm speaking. I'm speaking to you, it's bouncing off that and then come back to my ear. So there's something a little bit more powerful that I can't identify being in person. The vibration bounces off and comes back as opposed to a manufactured ear. So it seems like there's more value with the in person.
I mean, I love in person. I will always, recommend in person over just hearing it in your earbuds. But I know not everybody has the time or has somebody that they
We'll take the
trust.
time. They got the time. We've all got the time.
That's what you're
It's a
right.
priority list.
I
You
wasn't
either,
going to say it. I mean, I'm glad you said it.
yeah, we all got the time or you wouldn't be here. You
Yes.
prioritize yourself. You're not prioritizing yourself. You need to prioritize yourself. So if you've been asking yourself, if you're watching this video, you've been asking yourself, hey, I need to, what's the term you used earlier? Self-help,
Yeah.
self-love,
Yes,
or
it's self-care.
self-care
Yeah,
is going
making time for
around.
self-care.
You've got the time. You've got the time or you wouldn't be listening to this. So you need to prioritize yourself. That's very cool. And so you're going to give a demonstration May 3rd
Yeah,
at Catapult.
May 3rd. Yeah. So after all the speakers have completed their awesome talks, then I'll go in to just seal it. Because when you go somewhere and you're learning, it's wonderful. But you need time to be able to soak it in, to reflect, to really see what I just learned here, how can I apply it? Right. And so that's why I really love being able to bring a sound bath to these types of events because at the beginning of my sound bath, because I am a coach, I will do like a little short snippet like I did here talking
Sure.
about the power of pause. And
You do that for an hour?
I do that for an hour.
You sat there and
Yeah. It's this and then in between the other instruments, right? I play a little bit now,
sure.
but yeah, I play these and then the other instruments. And then during my sessions, depending how big the space is, I do walk around with the other instruments that are mobile. I don't walk around with these are very fragile. But the other ones I do walk around with. So that adds another element of, okay, I'm hearing it. I've had clients that say to me, I know I know that you say you're gonna walk around, but it's like I forget because I'm sort of already sleeping a little bit in my sound bath. And then I hear the koshi chimes, it's called. It's like I hear the chime, like I feel like it's here. So it's such a surreal
And everybody's so different.
experience.
Everybody's
Yes.
experiences in this life is different. You're at a different stress level.
Yes.
Um, I don't particularly think that I'm a stressed person. Compare myself to others and I see stress and I identify with, I'm not that. I'm enjoying the here and now because time is I'm trying to figure out time, but we're only here in the moment. You can't go back in the past and I can't go in the future. I can only be in the present. So it's a matter of people rearranging their priorities for themselves. It appears to me.
And that's a commitment they have to make to themselves, right?
I
Like,
agree.
um, because I've had a few clients when they come to me and I look at their calendar and we talk through what is the best way to realign their timelines with what's possible in each quarter, right? And sometimes I do get pushback. because they're used to doing so many things. And usually my question at that point is, how's that working for you?
Of course.
No judgment, no shame, because I've been there to try to do 10,000 things in one quarter. It's not
The
possible.
fact, okay, from a layman's term, the fact that you continuously to use the term quarter, that's how corporations operate in
Yeah.
quarters. So you're speaking in corporation terms to a guy who doesn't work in corporation terms, so that proves right then and there, just by the way you're saying, if you're in the category, I'm thinking to yourself, quarter, this quarter, maybe this month, you're doing too much. Calm down. Take a course. Help yourself.
Yeah.
How can people get in contact with you, Lupita?
With me, I'm on Facebook or Instagram. It's Ignite the Fire Inside. That's my business. They can find me at Lupita Alvarez as well. And then under there, you'll find me connected to, Polk Wellness Professionals, as well as Latina Professionals in Action. And if you're following me online, you're going to find out I'm always leading some sort of event, whether it's a full-on sound bath or I'm speaking on a stage here locally. Look, like the past quarter, I really focused on collaborations.
There we go.
So I've been doing, this is an interesting thing. The end of last quarter, I sat down, was September, and I sat down and I looked at my 6 months view. And I said to myself, okay, who do I want to collaborate with in the first quarter of 2025? And I sat down because I'd already been talking to them and going to their events. So I sat down and I picked certain people that I was like, I would love to do something with them. Then I built January, February, and March of this year in that space where I did yoga and sound bath collaborations, Pilates and sound bath collaborations. I was speaking at summits. How did that happen? It didn't happen because it just wrote it on a list and manifested it. Like I took time to analyze what are my priorities in my business? What are my main goals, right? Quarter per quarter. Yes, I have like 5-year plans and 10-year plans. But I don't know about you, but for me, I need to have small to big wins on the way there because then you can become disheartened. You can't wait for a goal that's going to happen in 5 years. And right now, it's a Friday. You're like, is it going to happen? You need something that you can say at the end of this month, this is the main sort of target. What can I do in between to get there? So I've been asked by business owners who've seen me become more visible, either seeing my flyers around town or seeing me on social media more and more and more because of my events that I'm hosting and I'm doing. And they've all asked me like, wow, you're everywhere, you're everywhere. I said, thank you. I said, thank you, because that took time and that took strategy. And it also took heart because the business owners that I'm collaborating with were in alignment. And this is something I think is very important for every business owner is not every collaboration is for you. And you need to be able to know what are your values. I've been approached by other small business owners, organizations who want to do something with me, and I have to sit down and analyze. Is this the right time for it? Are these the right values? Like, do they have the same values that I do? What is the main result we want to get here? And if we're not congruent, then I have to say thank you, but no thank you, right? And I think that's also the point where when you're in desperation mode as a business owner, you want to say yes to everything because you think exposure, exposure, exposure. But if we have anything to say with bad exposure that happens in the press, it's usually when you say yes to things that you didn't take the time to pause and to reflect on. And you just said yes to everything, right? And so I think that's why coming back to the bare sort of foundations of it all, who are you as a person? What are your values? And those values that you bring to your business, are they clear? So that when I'm being approached by someone, do they know that about me already, right? And I've asked a couple of collaborators that have approached me, and I said, "What led you to reach out to me?" I'm always curious, right? At the focus group,
Sure.
and the same things pop up every single time. One of them is, Lupita, it's your heart. Like you say what you do, and you do what you say. Like you're there. 2, you're consistent. Okay, we don't see that very often, and I know we all get busy as business owners, but we have to be consistent, right? The other part is they say your message is very different. And I'll say, what do you mean? They're like, you talk about rest. That seems like countercultural. And I like to say, well, I kind of learned a long time ago is rest equals revenue. And revenue is not always in money. Let me give you an example. The times that I make to go to a park, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I don't look at my phone, I just rest in that space. I look at the water, I look at the trees, I hear the, sounds. In that time, I can I wish I would be screenshotting these moments. As soon as I'm out of that time of rest and I'm just enjoying being there, I'm not even thinking about business, I'm just enjoying being there. I get back in my car, I look at my GPS where I'm going or what's my next meeting, just connect again to being there. I have an email, I have a DM, I have a text message. Lupita, can I book you for a sound bath? Hey, Lupita, there's a talk that's happening. Hey, I heard about you. Can we talk? There are opportunities that are happening that are being prepared for us behind the scenes when we rest versus I got to go out there and get everything done. There's something, you can find a balance between that. But I have found, at least in these past 5 years, where I shifted this model in my business after being busy for 10 years, when I embrace this rest component, I feel more myself, for one thing, and I can be more present in conversations that mean a lot to me, that really matter. And then that's where the opportunities come. Because when I'm in I think my genius zone of being me, I'm rested, I'm clear, I'm listening, I'm able to have a brainstorming session with you. I'm not thinking in my head, I gotta go, I got another meeting. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I'm not thinking about that. I'm here. I'm actually here. And I think that that's another thing that I get feedback on as well is, when I'm talking to you, you're actually here. You are listening. You're asking questions that nobody's asked me before. How have I gotten there? It's been with time, right? With time. And I'm not perfect. There's still moments where these old patterns of my value is in how productive I am, they creep up. My value is in doing, they creep up. And when that starts creeping up, I pause. Okay, where's this coming from? I mean, some of the most outlandish ideas have come to me, come to the surface, because what I truly believe is everything is already within us. Okay, it's already here. Are we making the time and space for it to, I call it simmer to the surface? Like, is it simmering? Or you something you put the lid on the pot, you didn't even turn on the pot. You know what I mean? So
what you're describing is awareness.
yeah.
You're already here. Are you tuned into that awareness?
Yes.
No? Yes. Like you said, it is. I believe the same thing. It's already here. Are you awake enough to see it? Are you on a radio? You dial it. Are you going to the 109 hertz? Are you going to 65 hertz? You going to 400 hertz? So your awareness will bring you more of what you see and what you know.
100%.
Pizza, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
I want to thank Coas for letting me use this room. Did we forget anything? I think this is fantastic. Did we forget anything?
No, I think we covered it all, to be honest.
People can contact you.
Yes.
You mentioned this. You gave us a fantastic demonstration. I don't know if you recognize it or not, but I'm a meditator. Okay. I've been meditating for decades. I am in the here and now. And I can appreciate everything you've done. There's no doubt about it. But I do see the corporate side that's got you by though.
Yeah, but think about it. We need to also think about it in the quarters because everybody else thinks in the quarters. So if you were to tell an entrepreneur, don't think about quarters at all when they go with their tax professional.
Yeah, that's still the corporate business side. Yes.
So you have to have it present, as in that's part of the system. But how can I customize my business, my way of doing business, my way of being at rest,
make a living,
to still fulfill these little quarter moments that I need to have the goals, but that is not the main focus, right? And I think that the majority of entrepreneurs that have been in the corporate or regular job, they're still thinking that way. So it's familiar when I talk about it. They're like, okay. Versus me saying, throw it out the window. They go into panic. Okay. So I understand because over 10 years, I've seen when I do the throw it out the window model, early on, there were, what? Everyone needs to have some sort of guardrails. And what I like to say is, we're starting with these until you build your own. because I have clients now that have told me, Lupita, I figured out what works for me. I'm like, what? Like, I'm a seasonal person. Like, what does that mean? They're like, I only want to work really intensely the first part of the 6 months of every year. After that, I want to just reap the benefits. So now they've created their own quarters. That's
That's
not quarters,
fantastic.
right? But how does somebody get there? You know, they gotta try
You've gotta
different
seek.
things.
You've got to seek. If you're not seeking to better yourself, it's never going to come. You have to make
100%.
that decision. I want to seek being happier. I want to seek being more profitable. I want to seek coming up and working for myself. Yeah, you got to wake up and seek yourself.
Yeah.